the seizure of its planes, suggesting that Zhongshan had a sole objective of undercutting and scamming an African government. However, Amosun, who was the governor when the deal was struck between the state government and the Chinese firm, in a statement described the firm as an imposter. His statement reads in part, there are claims and counterclaims as to who between the two was the lawful representative of the original joint venturer, Guangdong Province, China, and consequentially who had the right to manage the zone. Unknown to Ogun State government at the time, Zhongfu International Investment FXC merely sought to demarket China Africa Investment FXC and to covet the state-owned assets of the Guangdong province in China, together with the zone ownership and management rights of their business rival. It's also not true that administration sent police or any security agent to harass, intimidate, or beat anyone. If there was any such situation, it must have been from among the disputing rivals in the bid to outdo one another. Stemming from the above, this matter of the Zhongfu International Investment FXC should be treated the way Nigeria treated the P&ID case. There is no basis for negotiation. Now, I'm going to just take a quick tweet from a Nefertiti. She says, Ogun State versus the Chinese is deeper than we thought. Seizing those presidential jets was unavoidable. Nigeria is notorious for violating agreements. This is why Oyibo investors have refused to pour FDIs into Nigeria. Listen to Pat Utomi narrate his own harrowing experience. Now, this tweet from Pat Utomi making the rounds. I'm going to just take a paragraph. It was a very long one. He says, in the same breath, the economist Pat Utomi alleged that the former governor of Ogun State violated a contract that he entered into with his government. In his tweet on his X handle on Sunday, Utomi claimed that the Chinese company he also faced a similar fate. Now, part of that tweet reads in part, it says, it was Governor Amosun's violation of contract terms signed by his predecessor that brought the shame of seizure of jets from the presidential fleet. I hope he's happy at his achievement, and the whole matter is karma at work. The Chinese were not the only victims. One prominent Ogun indigene allegedly committed suicide with similar Amosun action. I, too, was a victim. Now, I know you've touched on it. You were just in an interview with the former Justice Minister and Attorney General of the Federation, and he shed a bit more light on it. But what do you make of these comments coming from economist Pat Utomi?
Look, it's a free trade zone. This is not something complicated, but of course with Nigeria, all these other matters start. We have it. Lagos has a free trade zone. The Dangote refinery operates in a free trade zone. So this is something that should be straightforward. The company was contracted to come in here, bring its expertise, set up the infrastructure, and establish this free trade zone between Ogun State. Somewhere along the line, the agreement went awry, and so now we have to let the Court of Arbitration take the matter to the end. But there are questions. Our exclusive guest he had just now, he himself was saying, how could you have signed some of these agreements? So I hope it doesn't go sideways for Ogun State, because at this point, it doesn't look good for the country at all. And Pat Utomi has a point, even though they've replied him. He did say that we have a history of not enforcing agreements. You can see that in the FDI numbers. Yeah. So yeah, there are questions as to how this thing was agreed, but this is a free trade zone. It should be very straightforward and very simple. We shouldn't be here.
What about you?
All right, so just to balance things, the former governor Ibikunle Amosun has responded to Pat Utomi's claims. He said that, so what Pat Utomi had said was that they had obtained land under the, what's that board now, Odua Investment in Lagos, and that when, during Senator Gbenga Daniel's tenure, then when Senator Ibikunle Amosun came and they're trying to claim that back, he cancelled the contract. But in giving clarity to that, Senator Ibikunle Amosun said they sent people to evaluate the land, and what Mr. Pat Utomi had claimed was about 200 million naira was not accurate, that they evaluated it to have been 50 million naira. In fact, they said 50 million. You couldn't have spent more than 50 million naira. And they tried, it was smaller than what he had claimed. So that in itself as well was not factual. So there were things around that. So I think in terms of balance, it's important. You know, the way say there are two sides, there are three sides to a story. One side, the other side, and then the truth. So it's important for us to highlight that. It's easy because of a deficit of trust to demonize administrations and say that, oh, governments are irresponsible, or perhaps just cancel contracts without going through due process. But it's also important to investigate the merits of the case and see what actually transpired. If indeed the land was overvalued by Mr. Pat Utomi, then the governor was well within his right to try and negotiate and do that.
Definitely.
But it doesn't take away that bigger issue around how we sometimes chase away investors by the way that we don't honor, contracts in some cases, and sometimes respect the rule of law. So sometimes that's a case definitely.
Definitely. I mean, I would have loved to come to you, but because of time, if you can just comment very quickly so we go to the next story.
Senator, I'm sorry, I will not be quick.
You have to be quick.
With due respect, I think Ogun State is notorious for things like this. And let's be realistic. We have not even talked about the case of Olokola, free trade zone. Same Ogun State. People had invested in this free trade zone. It went out. In fact, Senator Bikuli Amosun recently was saying, don't blame me for Olokola. With Dangote Refinery. This same Dangote that we have in Lagos, it was at the fallout of Olokola that he had to come to Lagos. Why is it always Ogun State? I yield the floor.
All right, then. That's a pertinent question. Okay. Well, let's move to our next story now, which is a tragic one. More than 20 medical students, as well as a house officer, were kidnapped by gunmen in Benue State. It was gathered that the students from the University of Maiduguri and University of Jos, respectively, were traveling to the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu when they were attacked by gunmen around 5:30 p.m. in Otukpo in Benue State. The students were said to be traveling in a convoy of 2 buses and were coming from the northern part of the country before the incident occurred. Benue State Police Command spokesperson SP Catherine Anene confirmed the abduction. Now let's take a few tweets. This one from Fisayo Shoyombo says, some of the abducted medical students of the universities of Jos and Maiduguri have shared their live locations and external contact. Where are the policemen and soldiers who fired live bullets and tear gas canisters at the End Bad Governance protesters? We need them now. Another tweet from Dr. Saint reads, Dear Prince Moye and Police NG, it's time to show your strength. Nigerians have been kidnapped again. Kindly kit up your men and go to the Benue State bush and do your show of force and rescue these kidnapped victims. Use the same energy you used to track innocent protesters and sponsors to track these bandits. DSSNG, it's time to show your strength. And then finally, this is a tweet put out just this morning by a spokesperson is saying the police has made a press statement on the matter. I don't think we should be discussing or updating the public on our efforts and strategies placed online. That's not necessary, and the aim is to rescue them unhurt. Of course, the Benue State governor has come out to condemn these kidnappings, and even the IGP of police, Kayode Egbetokun, as well, has come out to say that they're going to do everything within their power to bring the students home. But it's been a couple of days now. It happened on Thursday evening. Do you think that the police is moving fast enough? Rufai, we'll start with you.
For me, whatever they do, please, they should do it as much as possible. I think they have a lead already. Since the victims have shared their live location, they can actually go after them and bring these people to book. And like the people were saying, that this is where we want to see their strength. It's not only to use live bullets on protesters and lie that you didn't use live bullets on protesters. This is where we want to see the intelligence. Even they said they've been buying drones, they've been buying police gear and equipment. We want to see results. We are supporting them and we'll praise them when they do well.
All right, let me just say very quickly, that road, Otukpo, I think it's Otukpo-Otukpa location, has been said to be notorious for kidnappings, including high-profile kidnappings. Some local government chairmen, priests, and the likes have been kidnapped there. So it begs the question, what do we do with intelligence like this? Or what do we do with information when a particular portion of a road has been identified as very notorious for kidnapping cases? We didn't need for these 20 medical students to be kidnapped, another incident for the police or the security agents to rise up. What we're looking for a stronger security institution in Nigeria, or agency in Nigeria, is prevention. Rather than then coming to quite since Thursday, they've been in captivity.
Because even if they are rescued, the harm has already been done, right? They're already
so I just want to point out that we know this hotspot. We should be able to do something to prevent, occurrence again.
All right, then we'll take the last story, and then, of course, I'll start with you for the comments. Former United States President Donald Trump says he's much better looking than Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump, the Republican Party candidate in the upcoming U.S. elections, stated this at a campaign rally event in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania on Saturday. The former U.S. leader asserted that the Democratic Party presidential candidate portrait in the latest Time magazine cover wasn't a picture, but a drawing, adding that magazine's illustrator was too generous with Harris's portrait. Trump also blamed Harris for unleashing devastating inflation on one of the biggest issues of the campaign. Let's take a 30-second clip very quickly and come back and talk about it.
Who would believe this? 80 days from now, we are going to defeat a communist known as Kamala Harris. She's a communist. Most radical left person ever to run for office. This is not what this country needs. We've had enough of them. We're going to win back the White House, and we're going to take back our country. But she breaks everything that she touches, but soon we're going to fix every single problem. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Well, Trump has continued to personally attack Kamala. The DNC convention starts today. Very exciting times. The Rising is going to be on ground, covering it over the past 4 days. Rotus, very quickly
Kamala
before
Harris
we go.
is more good looking than Donald Trump. That's it.
And that's
it. That's it.
All right, then. Thank you so much. This has been fun. See you again tomorrow.
All right.
All right, then.